service announcement. These videos have the full intentions to be used as conversational tools and purposes only. Anything that is expressed in these videos and videos before and after has the sole purpose of that reason. I know a lot of this stuff is repetitive. I hope that you can understand that. Again, these are for conversational purposes only. The comment box on these videos is for that purpose. Thanks for watching. What's up, my YouTube family? I want to pick this video up kind of right where I left off last week, talking about the other videos that I may be bringing to the channel. And I had a kind of mixed reaction to what I said, and everyone was encouraging and positive about it, and everyone was also truthful, and I do appreciate that. And I do kind of want to clarify a little bit about what I said. Anything that I do on this channel will be automotive related, even if I do bring family into it. And I didn't say that in the last video, and I guess I should have, or I meant to, but starting a new channel is an extreme amount of work, and I do feel like what I have in mind as far as merging the two or bringing my family in will be welcomed. And you know, in the last video I said something about a daily type thing. I thought of that after I made that video, and with my schedule and everything that I have to do, the sports and just life, there's no way that I could do it daily. You know, if I didn't work and this was all I'd done, yeah, I would have to, and I don't want this to be to where I have to. I want to keep it fun, and I just don't want it to become a full-time job. I just wanted to reiterate what I said in the last video and maybe clarify and let you know what I had decided to do. But with that being said, let's talk about Street Outlaws. And it was season 12, season finale, and I don't think it could have been any better considering what we had the past couple of seasons. It was fantastic, and it was a good night of racing. I really enjoyed it. Anything from farm truck to the crown swapping hands and coming back, I really enjoyed it. And let's just start from the beginning and talk about everything that happened. And the first thing I'm talking about is the first thing in the episode, like normal, and it is the farm truck deal. And I have had several people commenting and telling me that they didn't want to hear about the stuff with farm truck, but I have a lot of viewers that are overseas and they don't get any of this until they hear it from me, so I like to put it in there. And the things that Farm Trucking Asian has done, some of it anyway, has been pretty good, and this week I felt like was pretty good one. It reminded me back of what we all fell in love with to begin with, and the show just brought back memories. They went fishing, although it wasn't with the farm truck or the Beetle, it was with the Goneril, and I enjoyed it. The Goneril walked off and left everything that they raced, and we seen a few familiar faces there too. Andrade Jr. and Andrade Sr. was there, and Jr. was driving a first generation Dodge Viper, and that kind of threw me off. I mean, I know the Cuddy is too fast for the Goneril, but he has a shop full of cars. He's got several different race cars that I feel like would have been a better race than that Viper. The Viper did not get any traction. Goneril walked off and left it just like it did everything that it raced. But that is really all that happened before race night. We did go to a few people's shop, like always, and they talked about what they was going to do or what they done, and that's it. But race night rolled around. Again, 45 minutes left on the show, and there was a lot of racing. The first race I want to talk about is Chuck and Doc. And that was probably the closest I have seen anyone come to hitting somebody without hitting them on the show's history. Chuck's car dead hooked and went into Doc's lane, and I would hate to see those two cars destroyed. That is two of the fastest people out there, and two people who's been on the list since it started, basically, or since the show started anyhow, and two legends in their own mind or in their own world. And I would hate to see either one of those cars either get destroyed that way or any other way, to be honest with you. But he about wrecked and wiped both the cars out. Luckily he didn't, and he come back and gave some excuse, and that was it. The next race I'm going to talk about is Murder Nova and Lutz. Lutz ended up winning. Sean's car broke loose. He had too much in it, and Lutz ended up taking the W, but it seemed like a lot of people had that problem with putting too much power in it and blowing the tires off. But before the Murder Nova blew his tires off, he was out on Lutz enough to win the race. And I don't know what happened to the Murder Nova. It seemed like he's finally got the car come around to what we're used to the Murder Nova being. But I want to see the car back fighting for number one like we have always seen the Murder Nova. But he ended up staying where he's at. It is what it is, and we'll move on to the next one. After Sean and Lutz race, Lutz tries to move up and takes Dave's spot. And he hit a roadblock with Dave. Dave's car is going to be the fastest car on the list. I don't know if it's Dave's driving or the car, but it is a deadly combination. Dave doesn't do this well at no preps, but on the street, he has his shit dialed in. I don't know if there's no weight limits. I don't know what it is that makes him so fast on the street, but he's deadly. When he gets this twin turbo thing figured out, he is going to be hell. He was fast with the Pro Charger, but he had just put it to the max as far as evolving. He said that he couldn't fit a bigger Pro Charger in his car because the nose was so short. I don't know. Seemed like he could do what he wanted to with the amount of money that he had, but it is what it is. He went twin turbo, and on the street, no prep, whatever, mainly on the street, you can't beat twin turbo. You can put the power where you can do so much more than you can with any other power adder on the planet. And he's getting his shit figured out. Dave is going to be the fastest car on that list. You wait and see. I guarantee you, come next season of Street Outlaws, he will be the fastest car, and everybody will be fighting to keep up with him. If you think about it, him, Ryan, Monza, they all should be about the same. With the exception of driving abilities and gearing. They're both running twin turbo 481Xs with basically a Pro Mod or a tube chassis car. It's all basically the same with the exception of driver and gearing and maybe weight, but you know how fast the Fireball is, you know how fast Monza is, and you know how fast Dave is. They are all going to be wadded up right there in the front, and it's all going to depend on who's got the best unit for that night. But we'll have to wait till next season to figure out how it plays out and what exactly happens. The next one I'll talk about is the back and forth between Fireball and Chief. Chief ended up walking away season 12, number one spot, the crown holder, but he did lose it for a few minutes as he red lit and lost the race. I don't even know if I've ever seen Chief jump, but he jumped bad. I don't know what it was. He said he knew he jumped. It was awful. He had actually passed the flagger before the light come on. They come back, let their cars cool down, and done it again, and he cut one hell of a light. He actually come back and said that he guessed on the light the second time, but he guessed dead on, and he run off and leaves Fireball 2 times in a row. But, the first one, obviously, because he red lit, he didn't win. He did come back and walk off and leave him again, though. I mean, he knew he had the faster car. He had the hottest car of the night, and I respect both of them. Ryan didn't want the crown like that. I think if it would have been for a spot other than number one, he would have took it, but he would have never had to live it down, the fact that he got the number one spot, especially on a season finale, or the last race night of the season on a technicality. He manned up and come back, re-raced him, and he lost. But my respect for Chief is he didn't want to change flaggers. He didn't want to do anything. He says that if he can't race off any flagger, he doesn't need to be out there. There was no need to change Chuck. Chuck didn't do anything wrong. Chuck just flagged his way. He took more steps back than what they are used to, but there is no right or wrong way really in their flagging. And, the way they do it, and that group of guys, there's no wrong way to do it. Chief said that he wanted Chuck back up there. He was someone that wasn't going to, weigh on each side. He was, friends with both of them, so he was the best one for the job, and I agree. I haven't seen Chuck flag a whole lot of races on the show, but he done a pretty good job, I feel like. And, you know, like they said, if they can't run off Chuck, then they don't need to be out there. They don't need to go out of town if they can't run off anyone. Long story short, Chief ends up walking away. Number 1, season 12, crown holder. We'll have to wait and see what happens next season. And next season, I hope they go out of town more than they did this year, where they only went out of town one time or raced anyone from out of town at all. But they did go out of town at least once and race California, first episode of the season, if I ain't mistaken. And, you know, I hope they go. That's a main part of the show. I know they've raced a lot of people, but the people that they have raced from elsewhere has also evolved. And I know that they haven't got beat much. I can think of one time, I think it was Kansas City, that they lost more than they won. But out of 12 seasons, they have only got outrun as a group once, and that was it. But I feel like there is more groups out there that is as fast as them. Maybe not on that particular road, because they race there every single weekend on the show anyway. That road is going to be tough, but there is cars out there that can hang with them. We see it all the time on No Prep Kings, and I feel like there's people out there that will give them a run for their money. But that's it for this week. Anything you want me to know, say, do, or have, my email address is across the screen. Anything you want me to know, y'all, good, bad, whatever, shoot me an email about it. I do my best at answering most of the emails I get, and my giveaways are still going. I was going to go ahead and do it, but with the season being over, I wanted to wait till at least the season was over with, because I need new content after the season is done. No Prep Kings is going on live right now. I don't know if JJ or what is about to come on, but I want to find fresh content to give to you when Street Outlaws goes off, so there is something going on all the time. I need a video at least once a week, so I'm going to try my best. But P.O. Box is on the screen if you want to be entered in the giveaway. Send something to it. It doesn't have to be anything expensive. It doesn't have to be anything that costs you money to be entered. Also, link for my shirts, first link in the description. That also gets you a entry to win $50, so there you go. Thank you for watching. Godspeed, and I will see you in the next video.